welcome to the November 6, 2024 regular meeting of the Putnam County Legislature. Please stand for the pledge. And I'll ask Legislator Eleanor to lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And please remain standing for the legislative prayer. I ask Legislator Adamizio to please lead us in prayer.
We seek blessings on the tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality.
Roll call, please.
District 1, Legislator Montgomery. Here. District 2, Legislator Goldman.
Present.
District 3, Legislator Adamson.
Present.
District 4, Legislator Nassim.
Present.
District 5, Legislator Elmer.
Here.
District 7, Legislator Castellano.
Present.
District 8, Legislator Sage.
Present.
District 9, Legislator Crowder.
Present.
District 6, Chairman Hunt.
Okay. Next on the agenda, I would like to invite Mr. Legislator Greg Elner for our proclamation supporting Operation Greenlight.
Carl. Alice. Whereas the residents of Putnam County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all of the men and women who have selflessly served their country in this community in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women that served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Putnam County seeks to honor these individuals who have paid the high price of freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, and whereas veterans continue to serve the community through local organizations, church groups, and civil service, and whereas Putnam County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel made while defending freedom and believes specific recognition be accorded to them in appreciation of the service and to demonstrate the honor and support that they have earned, now be it resolved as we approach Veterans Day 2024, the Putnam County Legislature and the County Executive hereby proclaim that Putnam County recognizes Operation Greenlight and encourages its citizens and businesses to honoring those whose immeasurable sacrifice helped preserve our freedom by displaying a green light in a window of their place of business or residence. Appreciate for everything and for your service.
I think this is the third year in a row that Guardian Revival started receiving this proclamation certificate alongside the Putnam County Veteran Service Agency with Carl and the rest of his team. I'm very grateful to be a part of the veteran community here in Putnam County. More importantly, I'm grateful for such a supportive legislature and municipality that really supports our veterans and does a lot over the years. We continue to grow our support to a much needed community. I think we have almost 5,000 veterans here in Putnam County, which is roughly, 5% of the population here. So it's a big, important population that needs a lot of help and support, and we cannot do it without all of you. So thank you.
And the other thing that we're aware of all the time, and Alex and I work on, is even with Veterans Day coming up, is the veteran suicide rate. It still remains high. It's still 22 veterans a day. Highest rate of anybody in any single group in the United States. So that's something that we're working on constantly to help our veterans. This will go a long way, and just veterans sees it, they're going to say thank you. They're going to be pleased that they were remembered, even in this small way. So we thank you. Thank the legislator as always. Wherever you live, somewhere at 11 o'clock on The 11th, there will be a ceremony at some VFW post, Legion Post, Town Hall, somewhere there will be a service. So please try to attend a Veterans Day ceremony this week. We're getting fewer and fewer people attending, so please, it's important that you show up and support our veterans. Thank you.
Hey, Carl, you have.
We have some
I'll put it by the stairs, grab some on the way out. Is that what
Yes,
we're
if
doing?
you'd like to support the veterans, these are green lights.
Green
Please
lights.
put them in your home and your business and turn them on.
Turn it on.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Here's yours.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, I recognize Legislator Crowley, who will present a proclamation for National Runaway Prevention Month.
Can I call up Jane Cunningham, Julie, and Erin? Thank you for coming.
How are you guys?
So we'd like to present this proclamation for National Runaway Prevention Month. Whereas November has been designated as National Runaway Prevention Month to raise awareness of the issues facing runaway and homeless youth, and to educate the public about solutions and the role they play in ending youth homelessness. And the prevalence of runaway and homelessness among youth is staggering, as studies suggest that every year 4.2 million people ages 13 to 25 endure some form of homelessness. And whereas effective programs supporting runaway youth and their families and providing safe and stable homes succeed because of partnerships created among families, youth-based advocacy organizations, community-based human services, law enforcement, and schools. Here be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim November 24th as National Runaway Prevention Month. We urge all citizens to support the effort to increase public awareness about, advocate on behalf of, and provide positive and safe alternatives to runaway and homeless youth and their families. Thank you, ladies, for your incredible job. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you. I'll just say thank you to the legislators and the county exec's office for recognizing this for us. I just wanted to ask Erin from Green Chimneys, they've been a great partner.
Right.
Yep, they've been a great partner with the Youth Bureau. So if you just wanted to say.
We've been operating the Runaway Homeless Youth Shelter in Brewster for over 25 years now. I've been there for about 10 years, and we just strive to make sure every youth has a safe place. If they don't have a place to stay, if they get kicked out of their home, if they don't know where to go, we operate 24 hours a day. Kids can show up at their door, they just call, they come in, but we always strive to make sure they have a safe place and they have somewhere to go to if they cannot return home. So we work with families and we try to reunify them with their families, but if we can't do that, we just make sure that there's a safe exit, which for the last 5 years, we've had 100% safe exits from our shelter of every youth who's been there. So,
Thank you. And I would like to recognize Legislator Bill Goldman, who will present the Small Business Recognition Month for November 2024.
Business owners, come on up.
How you doing? That's good.
Good to see a nice, large business community here in Putnam County. You know, small businesses are an important economic engine here in Putnam County and our communities and nationally, you know, throughout the whole country. A widely cited 2019 report from the U.S. Small Business Administration found that small businesses generated 44% of all economic activity in the country. That same year, small businesses created 2/3 of all jobs in the United States in a post-pandemic world. Small businesses have been the backbone of the economy and recovery here in Putnam County, New York State, and throughout the country. A successful small business is evidence of the independent initiative and hard work of the business owners and operators to continue their business and to make the quality of life here in Putnam County a better life. With the assistance of the Putnam County Business Council and local chambers of commerce, small business people provide a variety of services for our communities. The November-December holiday season is a very important season for the success of most small businesses here in Putnam and nationally. The Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim November 2024 as Small Business Recognition Month, and we urge everyone to shop small business here in Putnam County and to support our local small businesses so they can remain viable and successful, and they stay here for another year and many more years. Exactly. Thank you. Anyone like to say anything?
I'd be happy to say something. Bill, thank you. Thank you. It's great that you recognize the small business community, because after all, we don't really have anything other than a small business community here, and we need to come together. But I personally want to thank you, because this whole group of people I didn't know 2 or 3 years ago, and now I can call them all friends, which is really a nice byproduct of your calling attention to Small Business Recognition Month.
Very good. Bill, would like to say anything?
Just, I'm glad we're continuing this process here and supporting the small businesses and getting the word out that we are here, and we look forward to the community support, but also we thank the legislature and the executive for the support that they've given us.
Thank you. Any business leaders like to say anything?
Spend money in Putnam County, not on the Amazon or anywhere else. So the Putnam County and we all.
Tell the camera that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you also to all of you, our county legislators who come out all the time to support us, and our chamber is going to be visiting a lot of small businesses, and it gives us the opportunity throughout the month rather than just one day to visit them. So thank you very much, all of you, for your support. Really appreciate it.
On behalf of Brewster Chamber, we just also like to thank the Putnam County legislators and everybody for your support. So many small businesses in our community support our community, so it's really up to us to support them back.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Okay. Get a picture?
Got it, Eric?
Next on the agenda are minutes, Wednesday, August 6th, 2024.
How's it condition?
Number 5.
That's what I always say, go first.
Officially met, Christine. You've officially met.
I'm glad we finally got it.
Yes, I know. Thank you.
Moving on to the pre-filed resolutions. Before we begin with the pre-filed resolutions, I would like to make a motion to remove items 6B and 6C from the agenda, since Chairman Bianchi is not here this evening, and we will be discussing this at a special poll later this month. All in favor? There's no discussion on items 2 and 2. Remove from the roll call vote?
Legislator Edmonds.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Blumen.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery. Yes. Legislator Nasrino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Young. Motion carries.
14 months.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Legislator Adamizio, Chair of Rules, Enactments, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Thank you.
6A is, on behalf of myself, Legislators Elner and Legislator Masserino, I move to approve 6A, the litigation settlement for Andrew Krebeck.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. I'd like to recognize Legislator Castellano, Chair of the Audit and Administration Committee.
Thank you, Chairwoman. On behalf of Legislators Elner and Moulman, I'd like to move forward with the following. 6D is the approval of the budgetary amendment for the Health Department for vaccines that were approving $3,000 to cover the cost of immunization of travel clinic for the Department of Health.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6E is the approval of budgetary amendment for Office of Senior Resources. This is food expenses. We have some federal aid money coming in to cover the cost, and state aid as well, in the total amount of $33,767 to cover the cost of increased food expenditures at the Office of Senior Resources. Zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6F is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Department of Public Works, road machinery, subcontractor, and automotive. We're moving some money around to cover the costs for this machinery, the amount of $50,000, and fortunately we have it within the budget, so it's a zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6G is the approval of budgetary amendment for Veteran Services Agencies, the peer-to-peer program. This is incoming money to us here in Putnam County, the amount of $4,098 from the state that will put to good use with our veterans in Putnam County.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6H is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Health Department Adolescent Tobacco Use Prevention Act. This is also incoming money in the amount of $5,675 that we're going to put to use to help prevent the use of tobacco.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6I is the approval of budgetary amendment for Terry Foster and Putnam Golf Course contractual payments that were owed. Again, we are moving some money around to cover the costs and correcting our books at the same time. We're taking some money out of interest and earnings, which is a good thing, so it's zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6J is the approval of the budgetary amendment for DPW on the NYSERDA grant, clean energy community programs to purchase equipment in the amount of $15,000 of incoming state aid to us.
Discussion. All in favor?
6K is the approval of budgetary amendment for Board of Ethics. This is legal services. We're moving some money around to cover the cost of potential litigation that the Board of Ethics is involved in. It's the amount of $10,000. We're taking it out of interest and earnings to cover the cost. Zero fiscal impact.
Discussion.
So we're giving them the actual 20, the full 25. Or we're giving them the 10.
We're moving
This is
$10,000.
And they requested 25.
They did request 25.
Okay, so in Putnam County Code of Ethics, section 5516, subsection D, the county attorney shall provide legal services to the Board of Ethics upon request, except that in case where the Board of Ethics deems it necessary or appropriate, the board may engage the services of outside counsel with the consent of the county legislature, which shall not be unreasonably withheld. I don't understand why we're withholding money from that when they're requesting. They're saying they need instead of the director of personnel.
The request was for $25,000 in committee last week. We spoke about it. We thought that $25,000 was a bit more than necessary, and we did tell them that they can come back to us if necessary for more money, as stated last week at that audit. So we agreed for the $10,000 in committee. That's what was discussed in committee.
So for the chair, I was on here due to a death in the family, but I don't understand the shall not be reasonably withheld. What is the reason? We just don't find that.
I don't think it's being withheld. We're allocating $10,000. If they need more, we can give them more. It's not being withheld. We felt this was reasonable at the time. Any other discussion? Legislator Putnam.
Thank you, gentlemen. The head of personnel originally requested $25,000, which was just mentioned, for legal services for the Board of Ethics. In committee, this legislative body lowered the amount to $10,000. And if they need more, they can come to the legislature for more money. I think this is wrong. We need an independent Board of Ethics. The purpose of the Ethics Board is to give advice and guidance on ethic issues which might come up in the future. If the legislature controls the purse strings, this body will control the Ethics Board, and it will not be an independent body, which it should be. Because of this, I will not be supporting this.
Any other discussion? Legislator Nazareno, I'm sorry.
Well, the legislature does control the purse strings, so that's one of our prime responsibilities. The request was for $25,000, but it was discussed and concluded that that probably is a little bit of an overreach for the purpose of their request, and therefore was reduced to $10,000, with the understanding that should any more money need to be incurred, that we would oblige them accordingly. But for the purpose that they asked us for, this is not carte blanche to just have money in an account for different scenarios and different cases. This is for a specific case, and therefore $10,000 should be sufficient. $25,000 is a lot of hours, and from where I sit, I don't believe that warrants that much time.
Anyone else? Legislator Montgomery.
This clearly states that it is due to the nature of, there's a need to conduct an investigation and hearing relating to an ethics complaint that is before them. And if I can ask the chair or anybody on the legislature to remind me, because it was a very busy budget season, didn't we carte blanche allocate $50,000 for outside counsel for the legislature with no known reason, just in case we needed it?
Through the chair, I believe that request was for to have that money on hand. In case we needed, it wasn't for one specific case. This is for one request. It wasn't for one. We never had a budget line.
So that's my point,
outside
exactly. We just gave ourselves top carte blanche for an allocation of, I believe it was $50,000 for outside counsel for an unknown reason, which some of us raised during the committee discussion, and now we are holding back with, I don't know if anybody's been involved with legal issues or legal cases, but $10,000 is nothing when it comes to legal issues and fighting cases and dealing with investigations. So it is ridiculous that we're making them come back again. The Board of Ethics is, finally addressing some of these rampant ethical issues we have in Putnam County, and it's kind of refreshing to see. So I would be supporting this. I would like to see, actually, I'd like to make a motion to amend the resolution to provide $25,000 to be funded from the county's interest and earnings account for this purpose.
Second. Roll call vote, please. For the amendment.
Legislator Evans?
No.
Legislator Estor?
No.
Legislator Crowley?
Yes.
Legislator Elman?
No.
Legislator Coolman?
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery?
Yes.
Legislator Masserino?
No.
Legislator Savage?
Yes.
Chairman Young? Motion passed.
Okay, so back.
Through the chair, may I just say one comment? The request for $50,000 for the legislature wasn't just arbitrarily decided upon. This was for anticipation of what may or may not occur. And if the money is not expended, then it falls back to general fund in any event. And in this case, if it exceeds the $10,000, there's certainly the opportunity to spend more money if need be.
There's not going to be any constraints on the amount of hours that the council will need to prepare any work for the Board of Ethics. Hours are going to be accumulated, bills are going to be paid. And at that time, if it exceeds $10,000, we will pay our bills at the legislature. They will be covered, they will be paid. Roll call vote.
Legislator Adamson. This is on the original motion of $10,000.
Oh, on the original. Sure.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
No.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Young. Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6L is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department, the New York State Stop DWI Foundation, market recognition expert, call out overtime. It's incoming money in the amount of $315.19 to cover the overtime.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
6M is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department probation overtime DWI checks for February through May of 2024. This is in the amount of $3,107.20, which moving some money around to cover the cost and zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
6N is the approval of budgetary amendment for the coroner's office. This is drug overdose submission reimbursement program. They have $900 of state aid coming to the coroner's office that they want to use for uniforms, zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
6O is the approval of budgetary amendment for planning. This is the Federal Transit Administration Grant Award in the amount of $750,000 incoming money to Putnam County to cover the cost of transit buses.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6P is the approval of budgetary amendment for planning, and that's a Clean Energy Communities Program Award in the amount of $1,225 to move some money to cover the potential project, state aid.
Discussion.
Madam Chair.
I move to table this with hope that it will be referred back to the Physical Services Committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No. Aye.
Moving on to 6Q is the approval of budgetary amendment for social services, the Office of Mental Health, Office of people with developmental disabilities. This is the amount of $66,799. We're going to move money from interest and earnings to cover this cost with zero fiscal impact. Again, this is for the Office of Mental Health.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6R is the approval of budgetary amendment for finance. This is legal aid 18B costs. This is incoming state aid in the amount of $63,903 to cover the cost to help cover the cost for legal aid.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6S is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department. This is overtime in the amount of $5,651.63. For the Sheriff's Department, we're moving some money to cover the cost, zero fiscal impact to the budget.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6T is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department to purchase 2 utility task vehicles, UTVs. This is the amount of $72,498 that we're moving from the interest earnings category also, zero fiscal impact. The sheriff came to us to discuss the need for these utility vehicles, which I think would be a great thing for Putnam County and the Sheriff's Department. And it's zero fiscal impact, so it's good use of the money.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6U is is a budget, is an approval for budgetary amendment for the Youth Bureau, subcontractors for youth, sports, and education. This is state aid in the amount of $10,344 that will go towards youth, sports, and education. Good use for this office.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6B is approval of fund transfer for the Sheriff's Department for temporary position, removing $36,301 to cover the cost of temp for the rest of the year. Zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6W is the approval of fund transfer for social services to purchase furniture. This is in the amount of $4,900. We're going to move some money around to cover the cost for the Office of Social Services.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6X is the approval of fund transfer for the Department of Public Works. This is overtime in the amount of $32,295. Again, we're moving the money around to cover the cost, zero fiscal impact to the budget.
Discussion. All in favor?
6Y is an approval for a fund transfer for the law department, judgment and claims for settlement that we recently passed. We're moving some money around to cover the cost, put it in the appropriate category. Pay off our bills.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6Z is the approval of fund transfer for emergency services. This is dispatcher overtime in the amount of $75,000. Fortunately, we were able to move some money around and to cover the cost of the overtime to the end of the year. Zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
6AA is the approval of fund transfer for social services. This is computer equipment in the amount of $2,500. Again, we're going to move some money to cover the cost, cover this expenditure, zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6BB is the approval of the semi-annual mortgage tax report, April 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2024. This is when the Putnam County Clerk, who's tasked with collecting the mortgage tax on properties that are mortgaged in Putnam County, will reimburse the local municipalities to this money. It's a total amount for this 6-month period of $1,261,678.61. I'll read off the municipalities that will be receiving money. Town of Carmel will be receiving a check for $374,313.93. Town of Kent will be receiving $141,604.32. Town of Patterson, $128,277.80. In the town of Phillipstown, the village of Colesburn will be receiving $12,877.07. Village of Nelsonville will be receiving $3,640.55. The areas outside the villages within the town of Phillipstown will be receiving $153,421.97. The town of Putnam Valley will be receiving $150,458.27. In the town of Southeast, the village of Brewster will be receiving $8,743.05. Outside of the village of Brewster, within the town of Southeast, will be receiving $288,341.65. And this is for a total of $1,261,878.61. I'd like to thank the people at the county clerk's office for keeping this all together, presenting this to us every 6 months. Fortunately, mortgages have gone down again, so the numbers are a little bit less than we've had in years past, but we're going to put the money back to the towns.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
6CC is the approval of a local law to amend Chapter 41 Code of Putnam County entitled Deposits and Investment Policies. We had the Commissioner of Finance that came in front of us last week at our audit meeting to discuss, and he's just reallocating the amount of maximum that we can contribute to a whole list of banks that could possibly offer us a good interest rate in the future. Obviously, not all these banks would get deposits, but at least we'd open it up to the potential of the Commissioner of Finance to deposit monies with these local banks.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6DD is the approval of the designation of Putnam County as a tourism promotional agency. We do this on an annual basis for our tourism promotional agency. I'd like to move it forward.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6EE is the approval of the authorization to execute New York State Department of Transportation Urban Master Agreement supplements for transportation-related projects. This was discussed last week in audit. It's just an agreement that we'd like to move forward.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6FF is the approval of ratification of 110-acre lane property formerly known as 100 Zimmer Road in the town of Southeast, putting it back on the tax rolls as we found a buyer recently, thanks to the good work from the office here, to put this property back on the tax roll. It's a good thing for the taxpayers of Putnam County. I'd like to move it forward.
Discussion. All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 7, other business. I would like to make a motion to add other business to the agenda brought forward by Legislator Goldman. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Legislator Goldman.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Given the rise in anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli sentiment all over the world and in New York State, I requested that the Putnam County Legislature do this as a resolution. Basically, the approval resolution adoption of a non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism. Whereas the staggering and concerning rise in anti-Semitism within the United States necessitates a formal and updated definition of anti-Semitism for the purpose of protecting those who may be victimized by anti-Semitism practices. And whereas on May 26, 2016, the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, IHRA, adopted the following non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, towards Jewish communities, institutions, and religious facilities. And whereas this working definition has been adopted, endorsed, or recognized by 43 countries, as well as a wide range of other political entities, including a large number of regional, state, and local governments, and whereas Executive Order 13899 of December 11, 2019, signed by the President of the United States of America, set a policy that this working definition shall be considered in enforcing Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Now therefore be it resolved that the County of Putnam adopts the IHRA's non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism, including the contemporary examples of anti-Semitism as set forth therein, exclusionary as a tool and guide for training, education, recognizing and combating anti-Semitism, hate crimes, or discrimination, and the tracking and reporting anti-Semitism incidents, and be it further resolved that the provisions of this resolution shall not be constructed to diminish or infringe upon any right protected under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution or the New York State Constitution. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution shall be forwarded to the Putnam County District Attorney, Putnam County Sheriff, and to other government agencies, educational institutions, and non-governmental organizations throughout the county as appropriate and or upon request, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve this item? I'll make a motion to approve. Discussion. Oh, Bill, oh, okay, sorry. So Bill made the motion. And discussion. Well, I would just like to say that anti-Semitism doesn't have any place in our society. The International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance passed this in 2016. And President Donald Trump passed this in 2019. I think it's certainly worthy of a resolution here in Putnam County. I'll be favoring this. Any other discussion? Legislator Montgomery.
Thank you. I think this is a great start. Maybe I should call it a second start. If you recall, not too long ago, I put forward a Human Rights Commission that many of you voted against. Quite honestly, I'm tired of passing resolutions that have no teeth. I remember statements during that discussion where we were just merely proposing a Human Rights Commission made up of volunteers. We had dozens of people writing to us, and I know Legislator Castellano was in favor of it. There are 4 sitting members here that were against it. And it was a mechanism for which we could report complaints of discrimination because of age, religion, religious practice, race, color, gender identity, sexual orientation, national origin, marital status, everything. And I've heard comments over the years. I remember during the holiday season a couple of years ago, one of the legislators was just so upset because she felt bad for the Jews and because of the rise in anti-Semitic incidents in our county. And let's face it, you know, we've seen racism, anti-Semitism, violence against people of, you know, sexual orientation just on the rise in this county. And we don't do anything but pass a resolution. This is a lovely resolution. It's a great start. But comments made during our discussions of the Human Rights Commissions were, it will not meet our goal, one legislator said. So I just wonder, 4 years later, what is our goal? And what are we going to do about this as a county, as legislators, about the rise in anti-Semitism, you know, about the racial discrimination that's in our schools, that's in our county? We're going to pass another resolution saying, let's define racism. I hope that we can reconsider a Human Rights Commission. We are the only downstate county still. And as I said, there were dozens of people across the county, well-respected attorneys, professional people, doctors, who really wanted to be on that commission. And here we sit, again, 4 years later, passing a resolution to define a term. It's a great start. I appreciate Legislator Goldman for bringing it forward. I will support it, but I think it's ridiculous that we're still here.
Any other? Legislator Crowley.
I'm in full support of this. The school districts are now, have adopted teaching anti-Semitic and very nice said teaching about the Holocaust and different times throughout history where there were tragedies amongst the Jewish people. So I will be in full support of this, and I think, as Legislator Montgomery said, it's a start, but I think we need to do better as a county and as people and be kinder and really work on ways to educate people and provide help when needed.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on to agenda item 8 is recognition of public on agenda items. So anyone wishes to address an agenda item? Being none, I will move on to agenda item number 9, recognition of legislators. Legislator Whitman.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Yesterday was Election Day. I'd like to congratulate all the individuals who won. We have 2 people in this room who won re-election. One is sitting next to me and one is sitting right over there. The face of this legislature is going to change in January. We're going to be losing 2 current legislators and having 2 new ones coming in. So I'm looking forward to working with the new legislators, and it's going to be a positive thing for Putnam County as a whole. Also on Monday, November 11th, is Veterans Day. We live in very troubling times, as we all know. Remember, freedom is not free. I would like to thank all the veterans for their service to this great country, and thank you.
Anyone else? Legislator Montgomery.
Thank you for that. I'd like to say, I'd like to give a shout out really to the Board of Elections for their heroic efforts, really for this whole year. I mean, this was a very stressful and anxiety-provoking year for the Board of Elections, and our commissioners, Kelly Primavera and Kathy Croft, did an amazing job, and I really appreciate all the election workers and everybody who worked so hard to give us safe and secure, honest elections. And congratulations to everyone who won. Welcome, legislator-elect Russo. I did call Congressman Lawler today and Senator Rollison, and it's just, you know, what I said to them, and they agreed, it's wonderful that we can go out in the world during election season and support the candidates from our own party, and then the day after election, get back to work, you know, for the good of the people. So I feel very lucky that I get to do this work.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, I would also like to thank the Board of Elections and the workers who worked for the early voting and all day on Election Day, and congratulate all the candidates who won their election yesterday, especially my colleague in the legislature, Nancy Montgomery from District 1. Congratulations. Laura Russo from District 4, and Dan Birmingham in District 7. And I look forward to working with you all. I would also, again, remind everyone that Monday is Veterans Day, a day where we recognize the heroism of the military veterans in our county and in our country, and those who gave their lives in service for our country, so that we can continue to celebrate the freedoms that we all take advantage of, that we take for granted each day. Let us always remember those who selflessly serve our country and join in one of the 11-hour ceremonies in Putnam County. There are several throughout the county on Monday. Take this opportunity to thank a veteran. And with that, I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.